Kia ora. Welcome, hello. This is the Rebecca and Knits YouTube channel and welcome back. I am here to share with you once again all the things that I have been knitting on. So settle in to hear all about what I have been doing. It's been about 4 weeks since I last recorded, and so I have some finished objects to share with you and some new whips and some ongoing whips and a few plans. So shall we just crack into it, shall we? For those of you who are new here, I'm Bex and I am a knitter from the Hutt Valley in Wellington, New Zealand. It is autumn here, it is going into peak knitting season and I have all the knitting mojo. I am so excited to be knitting. You can see I have a substantial stash, my own little yarn shop, and I am feeling so inspired to knit on all the things. So hopefully there's going to be lots of knitting content coming up this year. But let's have a chat about what I have done recently. So this is my first finished object, what I'm wearing today. This is the Ariundle by the Ravelry. This is one of her more recently released patterns, I think 2 ago. She's since released the link since this one. It is a round yoke with raglan increases as well at the bottom of the yoke, 1x1 cabled motif yoke, and a repeat on the sleeves. Now you can see I managed to slot my sleeves a bit early. I was hoping they would grow a little more blocking, but nope, when you use an alpaca possum merino based yarn held with a mohair, it doesn't grow much. I have since found out, so I am actually going to go back and lengthen these sleeves a little bit because they really are a bit short, and I would prefer it to be a little bit cozier with the long sleeves for the winter because it is a really warm fibre. Just wearing my gym leggings, but you can see I've kind of done it to a nice mid-length, not cropped but not super long. And yeah, I absolutely love it. This yarn combo is absolutely gorgeous. This is one of my favourite discontinued yarns, which is called Waikiwi. It's a naturally New Zealand branded yarn. They don't make it anymore, but it's an alpaca merino and possum and nylon blend, technically sock yarn, and I held that with a strand of like mohair nylon fluff that I brought on a cone, and I absolutely love it. I don't own any other sweaters in this apple green colour, but my bridesmaids wore this colour for my wedding many moons ago, and so it is a colour I really love, and I'm really happy to have it in my wardrobe. So that's my main finished object. I spent a lot of time working on this, trying to get it done, because I was just absolutely wanting to wear it. And then of course we had warm weather for a week, so I actually haven't managed to wear it for a full day yet. I've just popped it on in the mornings when it's cool, and then I've really wanted it to have long sleeves. So I'm still in debate whether I will do some surgery and cut the cuff off and like knit some more sleeve and then Kitchener it back together, or whether I will just unravel the cuff and just knit and then re-knit the cuff. I mean, it's not a hard cuff to re-knit, so it might be easier just to do it that way, I feel. But I do have to hate undoing bind-offs. Do you hate undoing bind-offs? It's really not my favourite thing to do, and it's such grippy yarn. I don't know how well it's going to frog, but I'll try that when I feel motivated to add to the sleeves. Maybe I'll wear it this way for autumn and make them longer when it gets to winter. So this is my first finished object. If you were here last time, you would have heard me talk about I was knitting some hiking socks for one of my workmates. I finished both pairs of those. So I'll pop a picture in here of the 2 finished pairs because I've since gifted them. And I'll also pop a picture in of her wearing one of the pairs of socks. So she was really happy and they fit really well. So I'm really stoked with that. I'll talk more about her when we get to plans later on. So I finished those 2 pairs of socks. I cast on and finished another pair of socks since I talked to you last time because I was inspired. I remembered that I had this absolutely beautiful hedgehog fibres in my stash, and I'd used some of this colourway, just a wee bit, as part of my Battenberg blanket, and I had the rest of the skein just sitting there. I nearly forgot that I had it. I think it's called Pinky Swear. Can't exactly remember the colourway name because I lost the bill band, but it's definitely a hedgehog fibres sock yarn, and I've used another mini from my stash which just toned in with the similar colours for the heel and toe. I knit these like a sock tube, so I cast on, did the rib, 10 rows of rib, and then just knit until I had long, used half my yarn, and then I added the toe and heel and did the same with the other sock. Now I've been doing a lot of walking recently. I'm going on a big hike at Labour Weekend in October, and I've started my training, so I love to take, when I'm doing just a casual walk, not a like a mountainous hike, I love to take a bit of sock knitting with me on my walks. If you follow my Instagram, you would have seen that I keep posting myself walking along our beautiful river or in the native bush around here, in the native forest, knitting on socks. And so this was one of the pairs I knit doing that. Have worn them already, so they are already looking, look at this, a bit felted on the sole there. I wear these to work and I wear them with my Crocs. It's just become my signature style. I don't know that it's actually cool, but it is now who I am. Socks and Crocs at work. And I also wear them, my hand knitted socks, in my hiking shoes and my hiking boots. So I have lots more knitting sock plans, but they do get quite felted on the bottom, quite roughed up quite quickly, but I haven't had any wear out yet, so I keep wearing them. They do kind of shrink a little bit though when they felt up, so I do try and add, you know, a few rows extra so they're kind of a decently generous size on my foot when I first made them, so that as they felt up a little bit they don't get too small. So that's another finished object. Vicky socks, hedgehog socks, Ariundle, and I also made 2 wee pairs of fingerless mitts. Like I said, it's autumn here in Wellington and it is getting crispy in the mornings. It is quite cool, and my daughters walk to school or cycle to school or scooter to school, whichever takes their vibe their morning of. So I've made, one of my daughters already had some fingerless mitts that I had made previously, and the other 2 had lost theirs or didn't have any that fit. So I did make some fingerless mitts for 2 of my daughters, the oldest and the youngest. So I'll pop in some photos here. You can see that they have very different aesthetics. The rainbow ones are for my youngest daughter who just turned 8 this last week, and she loves rainbows. And that yarn is from Rainbows and Sprinkles, and who are an Australian-based hand dyer. And the green and black ones are for my oldest daughter. She's just turned 13. She loves panda bears and bamboo, hence hers are black and green. And I used, the black is just some scraps from my stash. It is black pearl from skeins, and the green is a Mama Willing mini skein that came with, I think, the December sock set that I got. And I held it double so they're DK weight for both. And yeah, really fun, huh? I really enjoyed knitting them up. They were really quick. I did the smaller pair in honestly like an evening and a morning. And I took a bit longer doing Ella's pair just because I just did. And I did quite a long hand on hers because she wanted to be able to have it up to keep her fingers really warm when she's walking, but then be able to fold it back so that she has freedom to use her hands as well. So they're both very happy with those, and I went on a walk last night and thought I want some fingerless mitts because my hair's cold. So I think a pair for myself will be next up on the needles as well. I haven't picked a yarn yet, but as you can see, I have plenty of choice. I will pick something, probably some leftovers, maybe the leftover cashmere from my Christmas Eve cast on ranunculus. Maybe I'll use that for some nice soft pink fingerless mitts. That sounds lovely. Anyway, we're not even up to plans. That's all my finished objects that I could think of. I'm pretty sure that's all I've finished since I talked to you last. This being the biggest one, obviously. Of course, have some whips, and because I finished this, I have a new whip, and that whip is the colourwork vest that I talked about last time for casting on for my sister. So I'm really feeling like after lovely stockinette in the round with just some like fun cable rows, this full colourwork slip over is taking a lot more time, but it is coming along nicely. This is how much I have so far. I am using a pattern called the Academic, and that's by Skandier, I think it's called. I'll put a picture up here. I'll put a little compilation actually, because I'm using her pattern for the numbers and the charts, though I am modifying the color recommendations for the charts to match the vibe of the inspiration pack that my sister sent me. So I'll put that little mosaic photo in here that I put together, and yeah, so it's coming along. I've got nearly finished this second motif, and then I will move into something in this, one memento please, I have it in this beautiful project bag by Mama Woolling, which just the vibe, the colours of this bag is just exactly what the vest is, because the next colour that I'm going to add in is this tealy blue. Already used this burgundy-ish colour, the navy, obviously we have the natural colour as the background, and I'm also going to pop in some of this coral as a pop, because that just goes with the inspiration pack that she gave me. So see how that goes with this bag? I mean, don't you just love how when a project and the bag just go together so beautifully? I mean, and everything by Mama Woolling is beautiful. So yeah, this is where I've got up to. It's taking me like a full 30 minutes per round, so this wee bit of knitting represents quite a lot of time, and I did have to frog about 5 rows through the middle of this motif, because I followed the colour recommendations on the chart and it looked terrible. So and also the inspiration pack is a lot more blocky colours and just 2 colours at a time, not really like, or like 1 or 2 colours within a motif rather than multiple colours within a motif. So I did modify back to just doing the winey colour for this motif, and then I'll do a teal in the next one. And I might do a few more blocky things, I don't know, but I don't know if that will look silly now that I have these more delicate ones already. But I'm absolutely loving it. This yarn is glorious. Now the pattern says that I'll only need about 500 meters to do the whole vest. Each of these balls is 250, and I'm already down to here. Admittedly, I have done the rib, which was all in the fawn, but I am definitely going to run out. Well, at least it feels that way. So I mean, it needs to be at least 30 centimeters before I start doing the neck, and it's all done in the round. So we do steaks. There's a steak for a v-neck and there's steaks for the sleeves, and I mean, I have to get to 30 centimeters before I even get to like the steaking spot. So like the start of the set, I'm going to run out. I have actually ordered 2 more balls of this. It's a completely different batch, so I have no idea how different it will look, because this is a natural undyed yarn. I'm hoping the base they're using is very similar, but this has been in my stash for a few years, so there's just no hope of getting the same batch. But I'm hoping that maybe I'll have enough to use the 2 balls that I have that match for the whole body, and then I'll be able to use one of my new balls. I bought 2 just to be safe, for like the ribbing and at the arms and the v-neck. But it might not last, but it might match. I don't know, we'll wait and see. It hasn't arrived yet. That was going to be in my acquisitions, but now you've heard about it now. So yeah, I'm really loving this. I don't have a set deadline for it. My sister is coming to stay at the end of April, so my lofty goal would be to have it done by then, which is about 4 weeks from now, which if this continued to be my main project, that shouldn't be a problem, but it might not because I have other things I want to knit. So anyway, that one is a work in progress, which I am really enjoying. It is just very slow going. I knit colour work two-handed, so I always have my dominant colour in my left hand knitting continental, and then my background colour in my right hand knitting English style. And I'm quite slow because I drop and wrap and collect again when I knit English style. I can't flick because I haven't tried to learn it for long enough. I get too mad and I can't do it. So I just, yeah, so my right hand is pretty slow, but the way I knit continental, I haven't found a good way of holding two yarns and I'm not getting tangled, my tension's staying good. So I get good tension, I feel. I do have to be careful not to be too tight, but for the most part, I think the tension's looking pretty good. And here's my floats. So far, so good, I think. The coloured yarn is a little bit thinner than the background colour, and I think that is mainly because even though this has more meterage per 50 grams than these do, but this is a worsted spun base and this is a woolen spun base, and I think it's just so much loftier because of all the air that's spun in there. So but it's going to work out beautifully. They've got very similar content, brush-tailed possum and merino. I don't know if you can tell the difference between those two strands, but when you're knitting it, it's very obvious, but absolutely lovely. And I have no regrets on buying 2 more of these, because if one is left over, it'll become a hat because it is so lemon stunning. And hopefully I'd be able to get a hat out of 250 meters. I think I would. Maybe not a double cuffed hat, but it would be gorge. So I'm secretly hoping there'll be enough left over for that. And it was a guilt-free purchase because it's for a gift knit. So that's my main whip that I'm working on at the moment, I would say. The other thing that I have been working diligently on is a test knit that I signed up for some socks. I can't remember if I mentioned this in my last podcast or not. This colour is looking really blown out. It's a lot more moody than that looks. But this is the Blooming Vine socks by Annie UT Knits. And it's a test knit. It's due to be finished by Easter, but you only did have to complete one sock, which I have done, the first one. It's really beautiful, isn't it? I'm using hand-dyed yarn by Vintage Pearls, who are a New Zealand hand dye. It's a mostly solid merino nylon sock base, and this, it's a bit deeper coloured than this. It's not quite as bright. It kind of looks more like this does in real life. Absolutely beautiful, a lovely, lovely yarn. It has this repeating vine motif all the way up the front of the sock and the front of the leg, and then it's stockinette obviously down the back, which is really nice. It's toe up, which is not my usual sock knitting method, so that's been interesting. And it has a fleagle heel, which I'd never done before. So you can see that you actually do increases as you go up here, increases to create a gusset, and then you do a short row heel here, and then you continue up the leg. They're absolutely stunning. Unfortunately, I haven't managed to find a way to memorize this chart, so I literally have to sit there with the chart open for every single row, which I find is less enjoyable because it's such a short row. You know, you're sort of doing the chart over just the front side of the stitches, but you kind of have to have it open all the time, and you're constantly back to the next row to check again what you've got to do, which, although I'm following a chart for this project, like, you can get the rhythm, it's quite repeatable, and so you can kind of get the rhythm of, you know, like 3 of this, 2 of that, 2 of that, 3 of this, and you repeat that round, and so you can kind of, and it's a long row, so you can kind of, you get the rhythm of the 2 colours for that row, and then you just continue that on repeat. Whereas with the sock, you do it once and then you're back again, and you've got to do something different because every row is different. But it is stunning, and they don't take that long to actually knit up once you've put your mind to it. Anyway, so I only needed to finish one for the test knit, so I may I would like to try and finish the other one by the time the test knit is due, which is I think the 2nd of April, but I haven't cast it on yet. So I just needed a wee break from the lace before I start the next one. But I will eventually have these done, and absolutely beautiful that they are. My other whip, so obviously I have more socks on the needles because those are not vanilla socks, so I can't take them walking. So once I finished the Hedgehog Fibers socks and socks for my workmates, I started a new pair of walking socks. Oh, I forgot to bring them. And I finished my handbag socks, which I think I showed you a couple episodes ago. Didn't bring them out here with me. I'll have to put a photo of them up. They were my next pair of walking and knitting socks, and I finished those. And so now I've started another walking and knitting sock. This is going to have, I haven't done rib at the top, I've done a fold over picot, which I've done on a few pairs of socks before, and it's really fun. I haven't sewn it down yet, so it's rolly, but just working on these. I'll probably do them tube style again, I think, because it's kind of easier just to knit as long as you want. This yarn is gorgeous and Eastery in colour, but this is from Marina of Strawberry Patches, and this was one of her mermaid sock club colourways from last year. I wasn't actually in the sock club because I was in Mama Wooling's sock club, but she did let me purchase a couple of the colourways as one-offs, and this was one of those. And it's just absolutely beautiful, and yes, it's mermaidy, but it's also very Eastery, so it's quite fun to be working on this at the moment. And these will again become socks to wear to work with my Crocs, because I have 2 pairs of Crocs, and one are hot pink and one are lilac, and so these will go perfectly with both. So I am enjoying knitting those up when I go for walks on the flat. And I also got some sock tubes knit up. Now, I recently met a new knitting friend through buying some D-stash yarn off her, and she has a circular sock knitting machine, which is just one of the biggest wonders known to man. Like, I'm so blown away by it. And so she makes sock tubes, and so we did a wee bit of a swippy swap, and she wound up a few sock tubes for me. So this is the first one that I am working on. This is special yarn that I got in my US yarn swap a wee while, a couple of years ago, and this is Woolberry Fibre Co, which, I mean, that's just pretty cool. That's just a name you don't, it's just a hand dyer. Like, we have so many hand dyers, but it's a US based one that we don't really see their stock here, and it's just so expensive to get it in. But I got this in a yarn swap. And so this is the tube. It's 64 stitches and the whole 100 gram skein plus the spit. So I've chopped off how much I wanted, about 100 rows, which is, no, it's more than that. I like 60 rows for my foot before the heel when I do a short row heel that doesn't have a gusset, and then I wanted 80 rows for the leg plus 20 rows of rib, because I want these to be socks I can wear in my hiking boots. So I want them to be taller. And so I've done the toe and I've done the cuff, and I need to put the heel in. Now, here's where I need your help. As you know, I'm normally a top down sock knitter, cuff down, and my cuff cast-ons have never been a problem. But when I come to bind off a cuff, I have issues. Now on this one, I just did a knit 1 per 1 standard bind off. It looks lovely. It's really tight. It does fit over my foot, over my but it has no stretch. It's really quite firm. So this one I was like, well, I don't want that. These are going to go further up my leg. They need to stretch over my calf. I'll do Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, which I did. And look how ripply it is. It looks so terrible. Now it fits brilliantly, but, and look, it's got heaps of stretch. It'll go up over my calf, further up my leg, but it just looks terrible. So if you are a toe-up sock knitter, or you knit from sock tubes as well, what bind off method do you use for your cuff? And how do I stop it doing this but also be stretchy? I have a terrible feeling that someone's going to tell me it's going to be a sewn bind off, which I've never learned how to do. But I'm assuming it's similar to Kitchener stitch, which I'm fine at. So, I don't know. It needs to kind of be somewhere in between this and this. But I don't know what that is. Anyway, so this is sock number 1, still needs a heel. This one will also get, I'll get 2 more, I'll get another sock this size. If I show you how it measures up, I will obviously break it here and knit 2 like longish socks, and then I'll have this much left, and I will make that is enough to make 2 shorty socks. Well, not 2 pairs, but you know, a shorty pair, because there's more than 60 rows there, so I can fit a foot and a little bit of leg, and so they will become work socks. So I'll get a pair of hiking socks and a pair of wear to work socks out of each tube. So I got this one, this Woolberry Fibre Co. This did come with a mini skein, which I've decided not to use because I've used this sock yarn from Skeins. The colourway is called Quarry Ridge, and this is their original sock yarn that they used to sell in 100-gram balls. They've now since rebranded their sock yarn, and I think it's the same composition, but they now sell it in 50-gram balls. It looks more like this. This is some of their current, this is their dark sole version, but this is what they, oh, I lie. Their dark sole has alpaca. Their normal one doesn't have alpaca, but they sell it kind of like this. Now, oh, coffee. Oh gosh, I brought that out with me. Lovely. What was I showing you? Completely lost my train of thought. Oh, the mini skein. Okay. Sorry, just step out of. Do you see my butt? Sorry. I'll come back. Sorry, that was not very attractive. This is the mini skein that actually came with that sock set. This is a high twist sock yarn, and I'm not it does also have nylon, but I'm not a super lover of knitting high twist yarns, which is why I chose this one to be made into a sock tube, because I was like, it's special to me. I want the socks, but I don't necessarily going to love the process of knitting it up, because I just don't love the high twist as much as a knitting experience. It's perfectly fine as the knitted garment, but I decided to use the dark blue, and I actually have some Waikiwi in this colourway, not this ball, because I have one that's already started that I used for Vicky's socks, my workmate socks, and I'm going to use that for the shorty pair because I think that's a really nice pairing as well. Shadows. Rather than the mini skein, just because I want to be different. I also got this skein made into a tube. I think this was by Ella and Eve, hand dyed, and I'm pretty sure my girlfriend Helen gave me this skein from her stash. That maybe she got in a swap or something, and she's just not a fluoro girl. And I'm not usually a yellow person, but this was very fun. So I have this, and I was totally convinced when I chose this one to get wound up that I had a mini skein in this like golden and yellow colour in my stash that I could use for the heels, toes and cuffs. But do I? I must have used it in my scrappy swap or something at Christmas time, my Advent swap, because I do not have anything this colour. Now again, this is blowing out because we're quite side lit here, and it's more ochre than it appears than the yellow it appears on the camera. But what I do have is this mini skein, which again is blown out, of this is Pearl Soho Linen Quill, and in the bright flamingo colourway, and it actually matches the speckles really perfectly. So I'm going to do that for one pair, which is really wild, but very fun. And then I I don't know, I would really like to do a hot pink, or I've just got to look around. I haven't found anything else in my stash that really matches these speckles particularly well. I might just do a cream for the second pair, or I mean, I have something like this, but I feel like this is a bit too dark, but maybe it doesn't look too bad on camera. I could just do one of these like naturally shades from Waikiwi that I have. Not 100% sure, but I'll do one zany pair with this because they are zany, so why not? That'll be fun. And again, I'll do a longer hiking pair and a shorter everyday pair. And then the last sock tube I got made up was this one, and this is Waikiwi, and this is actually 3 50-gram balls wound into one tube, because I want to make my girlfriend and her mum both some hiking socks with this. I'm hoping, I haven't actually measured it if it's long enough, but because this is 3 balls, the Waikiwi balls are slightly shorter, but yeah, I think that will be, that's folded in 4, 2 hiking pairs of socks for my mum and my girlfriend to match, because my girlfriend gave me this yarn, so I thought I would make her and her mum some matching hiking socks because they go on lots of hikes together. So that'll be kind of cute. And I will probably use this because it matches really nicely. Yeah. And I definitely don't have any yellow to use, but I probably could kind of find something that's mauvey purpley colour if I wanted to, but I'll probably just use the blue because it's lovely and I have plenty. And it feels like a good robust, it's merino nylon, but it does feel hard wearing. So that's my kind of like acquisition slash whips on the sock tubes, and I will undoubtedly get my new friend to wind me up some more at some point. If anyone in New Zealand is interested in getting their skeins wound into sock tubes, she charges $15 per skein, which I think is an absolute bargain because she has to take your skein, wind it onto a comb, then hand crank it into the tube. It's actually a lot of work. So the fact she only charges 15 New Zealand dollars, I think is amazing. Her business name is Avalon Knits. She's just lives about 15 minutes from me, and we have the best friendship going on. It's fantastic because I don't have a lot of in-person people who I can knit with, and so I'm absolutely loving spending whenever we can on a Wednesday together. But yeah, check her out, Avalon Knits. Absolutely worth it, and really fun, quick, effective, gorgeously made socks. Way nicer, way more professional looking than when I knit the whole sock, I have to say, but that's fine. The only other thing I still have going actively is the blanket I'm knitting for my girlfriend Helen. Here is how far I have got on that. I'm not knitting it, I'm crocheting it. This is just an ever increasing granny square blanket. I'm just making her a nice lap-sized blanket for sitting in her knitting chair. It probably needs to be double this size, I reckon. I am using Mahana alpaca from Skeins in these 3 different colours, and just going around and around and around. This is almost the completion of 1 ball of each colour in fingering weight, and I'm using a 4mm hook. Now it's quite light, it's not super thick and heavy. Certainly not going to feel like a weighted blanket, it's very light. But alpaca is very warm, and you know, you pop it on your lap and even though it's holey, you soon feel the warmth creeping in. So I think it's actually going to be very nice. Yeah, and if it's big enough, you can double it over. This I think I will take on my upcoming, I have 6 night shifts coming up in the next fortnight, and I need to take knitting on night shifts because sometimes there's very little to do if no one's actively in labour. And I'm a midwife, by the way. I work for my local hospital. If you're new here, I'm a midwife. That's why I'm saying I work night shifts. And I need something that's mindless, and this is very mindless. You literally just go round, round, round square, and it's very easy. And you can take 3 balls of yarn and you can crochet for yonks. Excuse me, because it just keeps going and going. So that is that. I don't know when I'll get that finished. It would be nice to get it to her before it gets cold for the winter, but it's not really a priority. So it's just in the background. I'm using a 4mm hook for that, and it's predominantly alpaca yarn, 90% alpaca, 10% merino. Fingering weight. Knit, 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 knit. Lovely. That's everything. That's everything that I brought to talk to you about that I have been actively working on or finished. You've already heard me talk about wanting to make myself some fingerless gloves. I am wanting to do that. The workmate that I made the socks for, she asked me the other day if she provided the wool and compensated me for my time, would I knit her a wrap cardigan, you know, like one of those ones where you have sleeves and then you wrap it around and then you put another sleeve. And I was like, yeah, why not? So she has purchased some flight merino from Skeins, and I already own the sweater scarf pattern by Knititude, so I'm going to use that, which I can put a picture in here, and I am going to knit that for her. I have no idea if she has a deadline for it yet. I should probably have asked that, but I'm going to work on that for her, and I'm not actually going to ask her to compensate me for my time. I don't feel like anyone could really afford to compensate for the amount of hours that you actually spend hand knitting something, you know, at a like reasonable hourly rate type situation. So I will just ask for a koha. She, if you're not from New Zealand, that's basically, it's a te reo word, and it means like a thank you gift, and a token of appreciation, basically. And so, and that can be monetary. It's most usually used in a monetary term, but it can also be like you bring some food or a bottle of wine or some flowers, or you say thank you with a koha. And so she's purchased the yarn, and if she insists on compensating me in some other way, I will just say just a koha of some sort would be lovely. Maybe even a voucher for a yarn store. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge once I've actually made it. Because I didn't ask her anything for the socks, and I didn't want to, because I feel like if you're going to gift for someone who is knit worthy, I'm happy to gift my time, because this is the craft I love to do, especially if you're covering the cost of the yarn. So I'm going to do that. I have another workmate who saw my socks and my Crocs the other day and was super admiring, so I'll probably make her a pair of socks at some point. And my main other plan, which I have mentioned before, is to make myself a Lanark sweater to match my husband's, but in pink. And we are going on a couples trip, just the two of us, to Queenstown at the end of April. Actually, that's when my sister's coming up. She's staying with our children while we go away. And I would love to have a Lanark, matching Lanark. His is black. I would like to make mine in this beautiful deep magenta pink, and the true colour is much more like what you see back here rather than how bright it is up front. And I would really like to get that cast on, because it's again about 4 weeks until we go, and that's why, like, if I worked on this for the next 4 weeks, I would totally get it done, because it's only a vest. But if I want to also knit a Lanark before then, I'm not convinced that will get done, but we will see. It depends on how much knitting time I have. Something like a Lanark I could work on a night shift, because majority is stockinette in the round. I've also already knit one, so it's a lot less knitting. I knit these sleeves in 2 days each. I know they're not quite as long as they needed to be, but like they're a stockinette in the round, and the Lanark is a drop shoulder, so there is quite a bit of faffing in the yoke and to do the zip area, but like there's so much stockinette in that project that I do think it'll be quite fast. At least I'm hoping so. My husband's one only took me about 6-7 weeks, and his is substantially bigger than mine will need to be. So we are going away for Easter. My family are driving to Auckland, which is about 8 hours worth of driving from Wellington, and we're going to stay with my parents in Auckland for 4 days over Easter. And so that's a lot of driving. That's 16 hours of driving time, because I'm the passenger princess. My husband prefers to drive when we go on a road trip. And so that's a lot of knitting time. Plus I've got 6 night shifts coming up. So I am very tempted to allow myself to cast that on. It starts with a double folded ribbed collar. So that's mindless knitting. It's just rib, rib and rib and rib and rib and rib. So I can probably do that on night shifts. And so yeah, so that's my plan, is to take that project. If I don't start it prior to going, I will take that as my knitting project for my 4-day trip to Auckland. I'll probably have a pair of socks with me as well, just to have a small project with me. But I will take that jumper and the socks, and I will get as much as I possibly can done in that 4 days. And then hopefully that will give me, and then I only have 2 weeks after that until we go. But that should be fine. If I can get through all the yoke, I can get the sleeves done in a week, and I can get the rest of the body done easily in a week. So it's feasible, but it might mean that my other projects get sidelined a wee bit. So we'll see. We will see. I definitely can't work on something like this on a night shift. My brain does not function well enough in the wee hours of the morning to do something like full colour work. And we often have the lights down low in the office as well. So no, I'm not even going to try. I'll just make mistakes and have to frog it. So I'd rather have a project that, like the crochet blanket or the lanark, that is stockinette and easy to do. Usually I have socks, but since we're on time crunch for the lanark, I might take that instead. So that is about all of my plans for the moment. Just the lanark to cast on, the project for my workmate. I'm hoping she's not in a hurry and I can start it after I've knit my lanark, or just have it slightly going on the side. Maybe I take that to work so that she can see I'm working on it. I don't know. Yeah, and that's the main things that I'm going to be working on over the next little while. I do still want to get back to those jumpers for my daughters. I do want to get them made before winter. I talked to you last time about the bunny, the baby bunnies cabled sweater for my middle girl. I'm going to do a bamboo inspired jumper for my oldest girl, and this green back here. And I'm going to do a rainbow sweater for my youngest daughter in these colours here, which you can't really see the complete rainbow, but there is pretty much a complete moody rainbow here. So I have lots of plans. I don't think I'm going to struggle to get through my Make 9 for other people, my Gift 9 this year. I might struggle to get through the Make 9 for myself, but that's okay. I'm nearly up to 9 pairs of socks already, so that's easy peasy. So we'll keep working on the gift knits. It seems to be a gift knitting year, but that's okay, because I gift myself yarn, and then I gift the garments and the projects to other people, and I think that's quite lovely and quite full circle. That's quite nice, quite holistic. I can be happy with that. And a few for myself. I still already have this one and a ranunculus for myself this year, and it's only March, so I can't complain. And lots of socks. Yeah, it's all good, guys. I'm enjoying my knitting craft so much. So much. I have also purchased a few things. We've long given up on the no purchasing this year. It didn't need to be a goal, so I've decided it's not going to be one. I'm just going to enjoy my stash and add to it as I see fit. I have obviously purchased the brush tail yarn that I need to finish Jess's project, and the sock tubes, which I already owned the yarn, but I did work out a deal with my friend there, and I did purchase some things in the most recent Skein sale, which ended today. I got 3 sweater quantities from that sale, which you can't actually see unless I move the camera. So I will try moving the camera. I'm gonna just zoom you down because then you'll be able to, oh sorry, bit jerky there. Now here's the rest of my wool. There we go. So I purchased this one here. This is Chatswood. It was a limited edition colorway in this beautiful purple. It's called Land's End, and this is a recycled fibre blend, which will no longer be being made because Skeins no longer own their mills, so they can't do the recycled blends anymore. So I thought I would get this. It's a DK weight, and yeah, it's just like a combination of natural fibres all recycled and made into this pretty colour. You can tell I quite like purple. This is my Cardiff cashmere. Little beauty, look at that. Have a whole sweater quantity. Haven't knit that up yet, that's exciting. Oops. And then I got this one here, which is underneath. This was a absolute bargain at $3 a ball. And this is just pure 100% Ariundle. It's just New Zealand wool. Relatively rustic, though it is machine washable. So it's, I wouldn't call it soft, but I wouldn't call it rough. But it's not, yeah, it's kind of in-betweeny, you know? And so I just love this colour. And this is called Vintier. Is that going to focus? It's like this really purpley, winey red. And I brought a sweater's quantity of this. It is a 4-ply, but it's 150 meters per ball, so it's kind of like a sport weight almost. And I am going to use this to make, what I would like to do is to do a like Christmassy color work. So this is my main color, and like a white cream, and do a color work motif as like a Christmas jumper. Because although we have a summer Christmas here in New Zealand, it is very often still cold in December. And maybe I'll make it with like a 3/4 sleeve, or maybe I'll make it as a t-shirt. But that's what I would like to do with that. This one I don't have a plan for yet. It'll be some kind of cute jumper. And then I also got this one here, which is Black Pearl. Again, a recycled fibre blend that Skeins are discontinuing. This is on a dark merino base, which is why it's a much more moodier colour. And it's recycled alpaca and merino, but black merino. So that's got that real dark, moody hue to it. And again, a DK weight. This is called Sink Hits. And I, like I said at the beginning, I've historically hated yellow, but I really started after making the colourwork sweater that I did earlier last year, with the gold, the like moody, dirty gold colourwork motif with navy blue. Calypso, it was called by Black Cat Knits. I've fallen in love with this moody ochre gold, and so I had to get a sweater quantity in that. Because the pink was sold out. So the next best thing was this beautiful gold. And I do have a plan of what I'm going to make with it. It's a cardigan, and I cannot remember what it's called. And my new knitting friend is going to send me the pattern name, but I don't have it with me. If I get a chance to put it in, I will put a picture up of what it's going to be. It's a cardigan with a cable motif down the front, and it's really gorgeous. Yes. So that's what I'm going to make with my Skeins purchases. I will bring you back this way so I can sit back down. Oh, I need to go back up a bit. Sorry, this is a wee bit in your face. Apologies for that. A little bit close. And the other thing that I have purchased is a couple of skeins of mohair from Mama Wooling. She had a shop update this last week, and my hubby gave me the okay to spend a wee bit of money, so that was great. So I got some of her Everything Nice. She did a shop update a few weeks ago of Sugar, Spice and Everything Nice, which were really cool. And the Everything Nice, I can put in a picture of what the colourway looks like. It's kind of like this soft pastel-y beigey peach with some like pink pops. And I have this yarn up here that I brought on a comb from Wool Yarns. It's a possum silk merino blend, and it is kind of heathered, but it's quite a neutral beigey pink, and I thought it might be a little bit wash-outy on my skin tone, though it's absolutely gorgeous and so light and lovely. So I'm going to hold the mohair with this for something like a lento, just like a simple raglan oversized comfy sweater. So yeah, this is around about a sport to DK weight, and I'll hold a stick more here with it. So when that arrives, I can show you that combo together. Yeah, so I've had lots of lovely things arriving or going to arrive, and I have lots of projects on my needles, and I have plans for all of this that will one day happen, and I am just loving my knitting craft. I'm also still spinning. I haven't got that to show you right now, but I can show you that maybe in the next episode. I've been working on my fibre club from Handmaiden. I'm going to do a big blanket with all the colours from this year eventually, and I have finished spinning January's fibre. It's a birthstone collection, so January's fibre was based on garnets. I've started working on amethyst, which is February's, which is lovely pale purples, and March has arrived. It's aquamarine, so beautiful, like aqua bluey teal, and I'm excited to see what April will be, how it will look. But anyway, I'm spinning those up and doing a chain ply, so so it'll be 3 ply, and I will going to probably crochet, but possibly knit, but most likely crochet them into some kind of blanket, which I haven't quite decided on yet, but I'm just working on spinning them up at the moment. So that is enough. I really thought this would be a 30-minute episode, and it's already 52 minutes. So I think it's time for me to go and do some more knitting, and I will see you next time in April sometime, hopefully after my little trip to Auckland, so I can show you my progress on Lanark. If you are interested in more regular updates on what I am knitting, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I am by the same name, Rebecca Ann Knits, on Instagram, as I am here on YouTube. You can also check out my Ravelry. I keep all my Ravelry project pages up to date with details of my projects, the yarns I've used, any changes I've made. All the projects I have current are on my Ravelry, so pretty much. Again, Rebecca Ann Knits. So you can check me out in any of those places. Feel free to ask me a question, leave a comment below, like this video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. I try and post at least once a month, though sometimes it's 6 weeks, sometimes it's 3 weeks in between. It kind of changes depending on my work schedule and how much I've managed to knit. But yeah, it's been a pleasure chatting with you and sharing with you today. I hope you are enjoying your craft and the changing seasons wherever you are, and I look forward to sharing again with you soon. Happy knitting, everyone. Ka kite.